Hey, I'm the NetherRealm Nobody, and this is my review of Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm. So, Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm, basically, Shao Kahn and other forces from Outworld are trying to take over Earthrealm, so Raiden and his chosen warriors have got to defend it. Got a little bootleg version of it here. I don't think you can actually find this on DVD in the US. I had to find this online. I haven't even watched this yet. I don't even know if it's all there and intact or correct. You can also find this on YouTube, so you know, you got that going for it. Anyways, so I'm going to be hitting every single episode. The first episode we'll be covering is episode 1. Kombat Begins Again. My nose just popped out, didn't it? A little wardrobe malfunction there. Alright, so anyways, so the very first episode, basically the gist of it is, Sector Cyrax, they have their cybernetic ninjas invading. And of course, while this is going on, you also have the threat of Scorpion on the horizon showing up. And then Sub-Zero shows up. And he starts helping the defenders. And we're trying to figure out, whose side is he on? Well, we're going to find out. Okay, so before I get into this episode, this particular review is going to be a little bit longer. Because I want to talk about, I guess, how I got into the show initially, even though not very much. And then how I found it, you know, years later. So this thing came out in like 96. That would have made me 11. And I remember when I heard of it, I don't remember if I saw a commercial for it, if I just happened to see it in TV Guide, which was a thing, or how I came about this exactly. But I do remember being super excited for a Mortal Kombat cartoon. Like, I was all about it. And being pumped. Now, the problem was, I lived out in the country. We had an antenna that got maybe 4 channels on a good day. Other than that, it was always snow and staggy stuff. So, and it was always network television that you were picking up. Or, you know, public broadcast, whatever. But we had no cable channels. We didn't have a satellite dish. We didn't have cable, nothing like that. So the only time I ever got to watch cable was on the weekends. I'd go to my grandmother's house. She lived in town. And I stayed a weekend with her. And so I got to watch, you know, and I was like a Nickelodeon kid. So, like, I grew up on, like, cable TV of the 90s. It wasn't an issue. For some reason, though, this I just kept missing. I remember watching maybe 2 episodes, or like an episode and a half. And I think the issue became, it came on like 9:30, and I would usually stay up stupid late. At that point, I was discovering myself and discovering some Cinemax. So this kid was staying up pretty late on Friday nights, watching like Red Shoe Diaries and Emmanuel in Space or whatever. Whatever, you know, Cinemax movies were playing. And so I'd sleep in. And I just never caught it hardly. I remember me and my cousin, he's also a huge Mortal Kombat fan. Me and him watched an episode together. I couldn't tell you now. I mean, even after watching the entire series, I don't know what episodes we watched. I know we watched an episode together, and I want to say maybe I caught an episode like halfway through. Like I woke up kind of in time to watch half an episode or whatever. And I just kept thinking like, well, maybe it'll eventually come on like my stations. Because that would happen. Sometimes stuff would go into syndication and you'd watch it, you know, whatever. And unfortunately, that never happened. And then I kept thinking, like, and this was an era of, like, VHS. And I was like, and it did come out on VHS. I do remember seeing it in Walmart. They didn't have, like, the full season, though. They had, like, episodes here and there. And I remember thinking, okay, at some point, I can just rent all these episodes. And we'll be good. And it just never happened. And then by the time, like, DVDs were a thing, it never got a legit DVD release. And I remember, I explained this back when I did my review for Mortal Kombat The Journey Begins, which was nothing connected to anything at all. But I remember when I saw that in the video stores, and it must have been much later because I mean that came out before the show. But when I saw the DVD in my family video, I remember thinking, oh, this must be like, you know, a companion to this. Like this, you know, the series must have been out for a while, and then they did a straight to video movie. And so I didn't want to watch that until I got caught up on this. And so I didn't watch either for many years to come. And it wasn't until recently I kind of discovered both of them again and then realized, okay, they're 2 separate things altogether anyways, and it didn't matter. So anyways, Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm was something that just always eluded me and I always wanted to watch it. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to defend this show. Like, I know I try to be super positive when I do my reviews. I know a lot of people go for the funny, let's just make fun of stuff and tear it apart, and that's great. But, like, I'm going to hit you with, I don't know, when it comes to this franchise, I'm just a little bit more forgiving on things. And spoiler alert for the next few episodes, I'm a fan of the cartoon series. I think it's fine. How I kind of came back into it was just recently, like within a year or so, I'm watching someone was reviewing it. This kind of popped up, and I was like, huh. And I was like, we need to see if I can find it anywhere, and couldn't find it streaming anywhere. But then I found it on YouTube of all places. I was like, oh, freaking sweet. So that's what I did. I just went ahead and typed it in, and then spent the whole day watching every episode. And my son, he's not really into it as much as I thought he'd be, because he likes random cartoons, but his taste is so whatever. And the only thing he likes about this is Raiden. And the funny thing about that is later on, I'm watching Big Trouble in Little China, and there's lightning, and he's just like, Raiden! And I'm like, no. And he goes, Raiden, that's Raiden. And I'm like, well, technically, I guess, kinda, but no. But anyways, that's what he associates with Raiden, and we all know why. So anyways, yeah. So whenever this is kind of playing in the background or whatever, he likes Raiden, and then he'll ask who the other characters are, because he never remembers them, but then that's kind of the end of it, and he loses interest pretty quickly. So yeah, I came back rewatching it. Now, in recent times, I've been, getting more into the Mortal Kombat community. I never knew there was a community for Mortal Kombat. I just knew I was a fan. I assumed there was other fans out there. But as far as, like, engaging with other people or reading articles or watching other people's videos, I just never, really got into that. And now there's a community. I'm going into it fucking head first. And when I'm looking up, people talking about Defenders of the Realm, so much negativity. And that's fine. If you don't like it, I get it. I'm not trying to say, oh no, you should love it. It's a master. No, it's definitely not. What I don't like is the reason people are saying they hate the show. Because bullshit reasons. You'll see it like on every countdown. There's like, articles. 10 times the Mortal Kombat franchise screwed up. Several times that this franchise took a wrong turn, and this show always winds up on there. Now here's the thing. It was red hot property at the time. Again, Mortal Kombat was huge in this country. Of course they was going to follow up with some kind of cartoon thing. Now here's the funny thing. People will complain. Well, why on earth would they take a very violent, mature, rated video game and try to make a cartoon that's geared and targeted toward kids? Go fuck yourself. Are you kidding me right now with that shit? That game was clearly geared toward us at that age. I was a kid during this era. That game was speaking to us. The commercials were badass. Are you kidding me? And dude, it was all about, like, ninja and karate and martial arts in the 90s. Hell, we had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Three Ninjas, Surf Ninjas. Fuck, there was like a Karate Kid reboot that had Hilary Swank that was really bad, but we didn't give a shit. We love karate. And we saw Mortal Kombat video game. They sit there and be like, well, that was not aimed for kids. Fuck you, it wasn't aimed for kids. Are you kidding me right now, dude? And kids ate it up. They also made a comic book that, guess what? Aimed toward kids. Don't tell me it wasn't. You know it was. They had action figures geared toward kids. They had Tiger Electronic handheld video games geared toward adults. Don't go fuck yourself. Kids! Of course it was geared toward kids. So to be like, I can't believe they did. You're an idiot then. You're a fucking moron who doesn't deserve to be doing this shit. That's ridiculous. Of course they're going to try and gear this for kids. Why wouldn't they? Now, don't get me wrong. Would I have much rather had an HBO Spawn-like fucking dark, gritty Mortal Kombat cartoon? Hey, absolutely. I would have loved to have the hardcore violence and the fatalities. Of course. Even if it wasn't even like a rated R. If it could have been more just adult-oriented. Even like, remember MTV had Liquid Television? You had like the Max and Eon Flux and shit. If it could have been along that vein, sure. But it wasn't. We got USA cartoon Saturday morning action block that had like Street Fighter also paired up with it. That's what we got. Deal with it. And the fact that you would go into it trying to review it with the adult eyes of like, well, I'm a Mortal Kombat fan of the highest order, it must be violent. Dude, the movie was PG-13, so go fuck yourself. Oh, I can't say it enough. I'm sorry. I don't want to get negative. I'm coming into this thing with love, but it just irritates me that people are just so fucking stupid when they. I can't believe it's good. You made it card. Took the violence out of it. You have Mortal Kombat with no gore? Well, they did it with the movie, and the shitty little short that went with the movie. But anyway, so that was never a hang up for me. I was fine with it. It was cool. I was all right. Wasn't a big deal. And then that's the thing. I only saw an episode and a half as a kid and thought it was all right. As an adult, I watch it and I'm thinking it's still fine. I'm still down with it. It's cool. So, anyways, let's get into, I guess, the characters first, and then we'll actually get into the episode. So, Mortal Kombat 3, it serves almost like a continuation from the video game Mortal Kombat 3. Or sorry, I'm going to say cartoon Defenders of the Realm. Seems to be kind of picking up for Mortal Kombat 3, the video game. However, it's also connected to the movie in a way. It's almost, a little bit different, obviously. But they definitely took elements from the movie and tried to make it like a sequel of sorts in a way. Which ain't going to matter because once Annihilation comes out, they ignore this completely anyways. And this thing was canceled over like 12 episodes, so it is what it is. But anyway, so we got the Defenders. So you got Raiden, of course, voiced by Clancy Brown. Fucking, Mr. Krabs, probably his biggest animation credit. That guy done like a ton of animation. He does other movies too. He was like in Pet Sematary 2, John Dies at the End. I'm a fan of Clancy Brown. He was in a Shawshank Redemption. Oh, Highlander. So, yeah, I like Clancy Brown. Just kind of a cool little get, I guess. I don't know. Which, again, this is not even a blip on his radar, but I guess for a Mortal Kombat fan, you're like, oh shit, this got some name recognition. And there's a couple other names kind of sprinkled throughout as well. Of course, Liu Kang comes back, obviously. Pretty much same Liu Kang as always. Nothing really changed about him. Katana, she's voiced by Cree Summers, which I'm not going to be a poser and go through her filmography. I just know she did Rugrats, and I know she did a few other things. I want to say maybe she did like Drawn Together, and was she in Powerpuff Girls? I don't know. There's like a few female, like Tara Strong, and a few other female voice actors that you just see all the time. Like just boom. If you look at their IMDb, there's like 500 credits for each of them too. They, voiceover, video games, cartoons, you name it, they did it. And but anyway, I recognize her name on here for Katana. So with the '95 movie, from what I understand, there's supposed to be a love subplot with Liu Kang and Katana. Because at this point in the video games, there's none. Even up to part 3, nothing. In Liu Kang's ending, Katana comes back and thanks him, because she wasn't actually a playable character in part 3, and she thanks him for, hey, thank you for, again, stopping the Outworld, forces, and, you really help my people, you're helping yourself, thank you. But there was no romance there. And with Mortal Kombat the movie, I don't know if they filmed these scenes or if it was just written in and they cut it out. Either way, but there were like certain moments you would see them kind of catch eyes, And so you can tell there was a subtext there, but it was nothing ever official. Here they lean into it fucking heavily right off the bat. Like right off the bat, you just know they're fucking. Like they're gonna be fucking soon. Katana, Liu Kang, oh yeah, we're getting it right now. So that's the biggest, I guess, takeaway from this one is we get the start of the Liu Kang Katana romance right here. You also got Jax and Sonya. Jax, I don't know. He's the funny guy, sarcastic. Kind of like what he would become in Annihilation, I guess. My biggest takeaway from this is there's a part where he calls Raiden girlfriend. Sure, why not? Sonya, she's probably the most annoying, and I hate that because I really liked her in the movie. But here she just cranked up to 11. She's gung-ho. She's a bit of a cunt. She's, I'll get into the storyline later, but she's a bitch, this Sub-Zero, this whole episode. She keeps yelling, "Combat time!" That's like her catchphrase, I guess, and she runs into action to do stuff. Yeah, it just is what it is. Yeah, I got nothing else to add to that one. We get Stryker. My God, God bless him. It's probably the most respect he'll ever get in the franchise. Ever. Right here. And he's not treated bad. He's treated like one of the team. He's part of the crew, And, yeah, the happiest I'll be with Stryker is Defenders of the Realm. Because that's what it is. He's a jobber from here on out. Let's be real, he's a jobber in Mortal Kombat 3 as well. But at least here he's given that proper respect. So, congratulations, Stryker. yeah, I'll try to get into traits and single scenes a little bit later. And then we got Nightwolf. He's the tech guy. I know he's supposed to be a shaman, but here he's a techie. He's the guy who sits at base and he alerts you when there's rips in the fabric between the realms, and when portals are opening and when people are attacking. He has a pet wolf named Kiva, new to the franchise, and whenever, like on command, Kiva will run and then like ghost into his chest, and then he becomes like the warrior Nightwolf. What I think of here is, I told you guys I did my deep dive on Mortal Kombat 3 that this game, I just remember even at the time, people were like upset that well, it's just a Native American stereotype, and they were bitching about that. And I guess they were just thinking, well, you know what? We'll just go a different direction. Native Americans aren't known for tech support. That's a different kind of Indian. So you know what? We'll make this guy our techie, and he'll be the guy knowing, doing the computers and stuff. So yeah, that's that. And then finally, as far as our defenders go, we got Sub-Zero. And he's voiced by, I already mentioned, Kurt Stryker's voiced by Ron Perlman, which I couldn't hear. I tried. I couldn't match that with Ron Perlman. Perlman has like a deep voice. He was Hellboy, for fuck's sake. And he's also in Alien Resurrection. Like, I love Ron Perlman. I don't hear Kurt Stryker in him at all, but whatever. But Sub-Zero, so cool. He's voiced by Luke Perry, baby. And you can definitely hear Luke Perry's voice on this one right here. So yeah, and again, I'll get into the plot, here in a little bit. So this episode starts off with we get Kiva and Nightwolf horse playing around in the cave. I guess they're trying to make you think, like, even like they do the intro and they tell you that Kiva is Nightwolf's pet. They start the scene off with Kiva stalking through the cave and then trying to attack, Nightwolf. Anyways, but it's all just them horsing around. Then of course, hey, big alert! And it turns out that Cyrax and Sector have brought cybernetic warriors to invade Earthrealm. And so right now, our Liu Kang, Katana, Stryker, Jax, and Sonya are repelling this attack. So as this is going on, we're getting to know the character of the game. We get Liu Kang, Katana, pretty much fucking without touching. I mean, seriously, like, as soon as they see each other, they lock eyes for like the longest time. There's like a battle going on around them. It's like, guys, maybe let's take care of these robots first, whatever. So all the cybernetic warriors are all gray. Like, it looks like an army of smokes just fucking showing up. I know smoke has more of a bluish gray tint, but these motherfuckers are just gray as shit. But they all have the Sector missile, which kind of made Sector's missile not that important when it comes up later to me. I don't know. But anyways, so they're fighting. We get we get all the moves. Liu Kang does his flying kick. And the credits they show him do the bicycle kick as well. We get Katana with her blade. She'll actually face off with Sector. In fact, that's the first stinger, like the first commercial break. He shows up and his missile comes out and she freaks, and I'm like, yeah, but everybody else has been throwing missiles this entire battle and it hasn't been a big deal. But anyways, she does her little fan wavy thing and knocks Sector out off the cliff. I don't know if she kills him or not. We don't really see him retreat with the others, but either way, took him down. And then Jax does his tremor. He hits the ground and fucking earthquake thing. Sonya does her ring, pink rings. And then Jax, of course, he just has his nightstick. It glows and he can actually pull out, and later he'll seal a rift. He'll seal the portal. Apparently his nightstick has powers in this thing. They infuse it with magic. So, Saturday morning cartoons. So anyway, as they're fighting this, do we get Sector? He shows up as well and chasing them around. However, Sub-Zero shows up, skating in on some ice. And he ends up, freezing a bunch of them. And then it turns out, Sonya's the only one who's giving him shit. How can we trust you? You turned against, I'm like, okay, he turned against Lin Kuei, but that's who's attacking you right now. If he didn't betray the Lin Kuei, then it'd be him attacking. So, but they don't come out and say the cybernetics are Lin Kuei in this. So I don't know if in the cartoon it's canon or what. I don't know. They don't say it, but either way, that was their whole thing. They just pretty much say, like, they were he's supposed to team up with Scorpion. Because that's his whole thing. He brings the message that, hey, Scorpion's on his way, and he's bringing an army with him as well. Everybody has their own army in this thing, apparently. So anyway, that's the next wave, or going to be the next wave. But we find out that, I'm jumping ahead of myself. Sorry. So then Raiden shows up. Again, him and Jax have their own whatever. back and forth. He's like, I've been talking to the Elder Gods all day. I'm like, dude, you got like meetings and shit? Like, you're under attack here. This is whatever. Turns out, apparently, it's been happening more frequently. And they're afraid that with all these different random portals being opening between Outworld and Earthrealm, it's going to weaken the fabric, and then eventually there's going to be nothing there, and then Outworld will just be able to overtake us. And they're trying to keep it a secret from the Earthrealm people as well, so that's the whole thing. So anyways, once they end up throwing the cybernetic people back, and then that's the other thing. Everybody's complaining about there's not enough violence. Dude, there's nothing but fight scenes in this opening sequence. Like, it's just fight scenes upon fight scenes. I don't know. I don't know what people are complaining about. I guess it's just lack of blood, I guess. But either way, so we get our fight scenes and everything. And then they, Sub-Zero tells them, like, hey, I want to help you guys, and they do a flashback to Liu Kang and Sub-Zero's fight. Except without Sub-Zero getting impelled by an icicle or whatever. But, he does get frozen. But plays out the exact same thing. And he kind of has doubts, like, could I have beaten Sub-Zero without Katana kind of guiding me? And she's like, listen, you can't be afraid because that's what's going to, that's worse than any attack we're getting right now is your own fear kind of thing. So anyways, they agreed to bring Sub-Zero back to their headquarters. And, of course, Sonya Blade's against it, but whatever. And they get their fighter jets. I love that. Everybody can fly a jet. Like these monks who, even if you're a great fighter, maybe you can fly a fighter jet, but apparently they do in this world. So Jax, Stryker, and Liu Kang are the pilots, and everyone else is the co-pilots, and then they just fly to the tower. They got this cave tower thing. This is where it speaks to me as a 10-year-old kid, because I'm thinking back when I was a kid, and I'd play any kind of toys, whether Batman, Turtles, I went through different phases, Ghostbusters at one point, pro wrestling, Power Rangers. I mean, no matter what, though, I always had the two camps, like, living together, like they're just roommates, like, and friends, like, in two different camps. So, and it does kind of make sense on some of them, because I guess it's like, the Turtles, they do all live together in the sewer, but I'd have, like, Casey Jones bunking up with them, too. Or April O'Neil was living down. Like, she didn't have her own apartment. She lived in the sewer with the Turtles. But that's just where everybody lived. Batman, same way. Like, I had all the super friends. They were living in the Batcave. They lived at Wayne Mansion, or Wayne Manor. Constantly. And then bad guys are the same way for me. It's like, you know what? They're all villains, and they all have their own camps. But, goddamn it, I put them in one giant complex. They live together. And that's what they're doing here. They literally just have, like, this cave base that they're all just sleeping and hanging out in or whatever. Just, I don't know. It's the simplest basic storytelling for 10-year-olds, and like the 10-year-old me would have ate that shit up. I'm like, yep, that's how it works. They're speaking to me right here. So yeah, we get this whole thing. Again, Nightwolf reflects on the fact that yep, I'm a shaman, but I'm also doing this tech support thing. And it turns out, oh no, we got more company, because it turns out the Nomads, which are technically the Tarkatans. I guess they didn't want to call them Tarkatans. They just call them Nomads. But they got their newest leader, Karbrak. We don't get Baraka in this series, which is a shame. Karbrak, who looks no different. They didn't even give him like a badge or a different colored vest. It's just they're all Tarkatans or Nomads looking exactly the same. It's ridiculous. But anyways, Karbrak is the new leader. And turns out they followed Sub-Zero there to their hideout. So everybody's pissed at Sub-Zero, and they make him stay back at the base. So it's like him, Raiden, and Nightwolf, and Kiva, and everyone else goes out to fight. Turns out Nomads also are masters of fighter pilot jets, and so we get dogfights and shit. And it's funny because like Liu Kang starts off like, man, I'm nervous flying this thing, and then the very next scene, there's like a canyon, and like two mountains are this close together, and he just turns that bitch sideways, goes right through it, and I'm like, really? Man, that fear just melted away, huh? So anyways, we get some more fight scenes there, and it turns out that Karbrak brings a whole group to the actual cave. Now, Raiden leaves at this point, because he's going to try to make a portal to send them all back to. And so he heads back to his portal, or go do that or whatever. And so it's Nightwolf and Sub-Zero, and Sub-Zero's like, listen, you gotta trust me, let me fight with you. So Kiva jumps inside Nightwolf, he warriors up, and then Karbrak and the other Nomads show up, and then we have a big battle there. And they try to, get everyone else to, hey, we need help, back up, but they're all busy out there fighting as well. Anyways, long story short, they will destroy them. Yeah, like, motherfucking Nightwolf, this bow and arrow with explosions, knocks all the nomads down. It looked like it could have died to me, but whatever. No violence, I guess. Anyways, and then yeah, Sub-Zero takes out Carbrak, knocks him back. Didn't even put him in the lava though. Like just knocked him out cold. Then they throw him on the group, and then Raiden shows back up. He's like, "I'll take them back to their dimension, or put them in dimension where they, they know their way there now, and so it's a secret." So he has to put them in a dark dimension where they'll never find their way back. And I'm like, holy shit! Like this dude just threw him in a black hole and like tells them fuck off, and he does. He sends them all away. So anyways, turns out that they actually, I guess, threw a bug on Sub-Zero, and they was trying to recruit him to join the dark side, and that's how they were able to follow him. He even said, like, they must have tracked me, and Raiden's like, whatever. And then he's like, oh, they were right. They did track you. There it is. I found it with my magical wand or whatever. And then, like, Sonya Blade's like, and then, he's like, I'm part of you guys now, and Sonya Blade's like, I'm sorry. I guess we're friends again. So, yeah, it is what it is. So, but then they get the next warning, and it turns out, guess what? Scorpion is coming next. So, and we're getting ready for Scorpion Sub-Zero again. So, anyways, that was the first episode of, Defenders of the Realm. You know what? It sets up everything perfectly. It establishes every character, their quirks, their traits, everything. Gets all the backstory out of the way. We had major villains show up. We already had Cyrax, Sector. We didn't have Baraka. We had Carbrak. Whatever, I'll take it. And then we're heading at Scorpion coming next. So I thought this was good. I thought, again, it set up everything just fine. If I was a kid watching this and this is the first episode, I'm excited to see what comes next. I want to join these guys on the next adventure here. So that's all I got, guys. I'm giving this all a thumbs up. Again, I am more positive, a little more, but I'm not just putting on an act. Like, I genuinely think this is a decent show. It's not great. If I was to do, like, my top whatever animated shows of all time, it's not cracking the list. But it's a fine watch. I watched it once all the way through before I even thought about doing this show. Since then, I just kind of put it on the background, and my kid will kind of watch it from time to time or whatever before he gets tired of it and walks away. But yeah, and then when I started doing the show, I decided to revisit it again. Like I said, I got the DVD thing right here. I'm okay with it. I really am. So anyways, I'm not going to rate these or rank the episodes individually. I'll just kind of do it all in one big lump and then add it to the, main list later. So yeah, guys, we've got some more of these coming, so stay tuned. But yeah, that was the first episode, Kombat Begins. Kombat Begins Again. So anyway, that's all I got, guys. Thank you for watching. Until next time.